Get Newcastle United FC updates directly to your inbox. Plus subscribe. Thank you for subscribing. Could not subscribe. Try again later. Invalid email. It's hard to decide which is more risible. Newcastle United's woeful away record on a Monday night, or Sky Sports' ludicrous decision to choose this match for live broadcast. Burnley vs Newcastle was never likely to be a thriller. Rather, just about every supporter of both clubs, and even neutral observers, would have been able to warn the broadcaster that this game was only ever going to be dull. Just how dire this match turned out to be, however, no one could quite have predicted, particularly from a Newcastle point of view. It is now 12 Monday Night League away games in succession in which United have tasted defeat. And, in the Magpies' last 16 top-flight matches on the road in general, they have lost 12, drawn 3 and won only once. These are the sort of statistics that must be corrected if Newcastle are to secure their mid-table place, rather than be dragged down towards the low reaches of the Premier League. What was so frustrating was that, although United were so poor in attack, for the most part their defensive discipline was excellent. Yet one lapse in concentration allowed Jeff Hendrick to tap in unmarked at the far post and condemn the Magpies to defeat. And it will undoubtedly frustrate Rafa Benitez, who had raised eyebrows with his team selection. Image. PA. The only thing that surprises you about a Benitez starting lineup is that it never fails to surprise you at the moment when you think that you have just about learned the pattern of his team selection. The Spaniard throws a left field choice into the mix. Mikel Merino was absent for this one after suffering a back injury in training, the severity of which is yet to be confirmed, with an assessment ongoing. But, rather than persist with Jonjo Shelvey and Isaac Hayden in midfield, the latter found himself confined to the bench. In Hayden's place, Mo Diame was elevated to the United 11 for his very first league start of the season, and his first since April 28, when he was in the Magpies side who defeated Cardiff City in South Wales. It was also, incredibly, his first Premier League start since December 2014 when he was in the Hull City 11 against Everton. A powerful midfielder who covers a lot of ground. Clearly Benitez opted for Diame's strength and work rate against a Burnley team renowned for their doggedness rather than Hayden's endeavour and youthful energy. That was the only change to the side who defeated Crystal Palace 1-0. Though Alexander Mitrovic was once again absent from the bench, though there was a place among the substitutes for Henri Savic for the first time since August. Heading into the match, 8th place Newcastle sat 1 point and 2 positions ahead of Burnley in the Premier League table, with both teams having outperformed the early season expectations that these sides would be among the top-flight relegation candidates from the off. At Turf Moor, it was the home side who started in the ascendancy, with eventual match winner Hendrick putting 2 decent chances wide of either post inside the opening 4 minutes. It took until the 10th minute for United to register a shot of note, with Christian Atsu firing over from 12 yards out following a scramble in the Burnley box when the winger should really have done better. Shelvey, who dictated play for the visitors with his exceptional passing range, then forced Nick Pope into a save with a powerful drive from the edge of the area. At the other end, James Tarkowski hit the side netting from a tight angle after a Burnley free kick was flicked towards him in the area. Robbie Brady then attempted to lob Rob Elliott from a tight angle, but the backtracking Newcastle goalkeeper did well to pluck the ball out of the air before stopping in his tracks before inadvertently retreating over his own line. Evidently the Clarets were aiming to test United aerially, with the towering presence of Ashley Barnes up front heading wide of the near post from 12 yards out. When the half-time whistle blew, it was Benitez who would have been the more content of the two managers. with United's defence having offered them a platform from which they could build. After the restart, it was Ios Perez who came close to opening the scoring, curling an effort from the edge of the area towards the far corner, which Nick Pope did well to tip wide of the post. Tarkowski forced a routine save from Elliott at the other end, as both sides went in search of a breakthrough in a poor Monday night encounter. If anything, the second period was even more dire than the first. But then, in the 74th minute, the key moment arrived. Perez was out-muscled midway inside his own half. Burnley fed the ball to Jack Cork, whose shot was parried well by Elliott, only for Johan Berg Gudmundsson to cross to the back post. Hendrick was there to tap in. In fact, he had an age to do so. It was woeful defending, and, for a side who had been so disciplined for so long, it was a sickening blow. Joselu came agonizingly close to rescuing a point with a curling effort from the edge of the area during the final 10 minutes, as did substitute Hayden, whose shot on the turn was tipped wide by the impressive Pope. At the other end, it was up to Elliott to keep the deficit at only 1 goal, with the United goalkeeper making an excellent low stop from Barnes late on. In truth, United did not deserve anything from this game, and Sky Sports did not deserve a grandstand finish to a woeful Monday Night Football affair. The Magpies must consign this one to history and move on to the next game against AFC Bournemouth, which, thankfully, is both at St James Park and on a day which is not a Monday.